gosh, I've only had records with them 100,000 times. I'm embarrassed.
I love it because I'm already there. And he's just hitting that place in his life where he's like,
I'm still 38. Should be happening at 38, right? Wait a minute, I'll find it. Well, this year I enlisted our church, which was New Hope Bible Church. So we did a whole in Pontiac this year. We had so I mean, I've been in Pontiac is what it is. I'm right. Yeah, did a whole neighborhood. Yeah, one or two houses in the street in the neighborhood. But now I want to know, forgot his name.
guy named Wonder.
Yeah.
Do you remember who Greg in Pontiac?
Joe. Yeah. Hiker. Joe. And I don't see Joe. How come Joe's not here? I thought he was going to be taking your position. Anyway, I didn't know. You only do that if you want somebody to kiss.
Okay, everyone is getting their seats. Great. Thank you for coming out on an event like tonight. Basketball games, baseball games, football games, any place you could have been, but here you are. Thank you for attending this evening. Welcome to everyone, and thank you for celebrating you tonight, because you're the one who contributes to Rebuilding Together, Oakland County. I'm Gail Frazee, President of Rebuilding Together Boards of Directors. And I'd like to start by first acknowledging some special guests we have with us tonight. First off, I'd like to introduce Charley Shimanski, President of Rebuilding Together National. He is our servant tonight. He'll talk more about that. And Tiffany Kinney, Regional Director. She's our regional servant. She'll talk more about that tonight, perhaps, as well. Our sponsors for tonight, in other words, to defer the cost of the meals and so on and so forth, our platinum sponsor is Stonebridge Financial Partners, LLC. Chase Bank is our gold sponsor. We've had exceptional contributions from others, including Orchard United Methodist Church, Trader Joe's, Gordon Food Service, All-American All-Stars, and Mark Besh. I'd like to also introduce our board members who are here tonight. I'll get my piece of paper because some of them are not here. I'd like to start off first with our Vice President, Deborah Majeski. Where are you, Deborah? She's selling tickets. There you go. Good job. Thank you, Deborah. Patrick Doheny, he's our treasurer. There's the money man. Someone who doesn't really need an introduction, but Jerry McKay, past president. Clarence Mills, he's a director for us over there in the corner. He makes sure you congratulate. And Al Kashkowski, our executive director. Also with us tonight is Dan Harmon, a past president. Where are you, Dan? There he is, way back. Helping introduce the event together. And Karen Anderson from Anderson Workforce Solutions is with us tonight. She helped us on a special event. Unfortunately, tonight we had some of our board members not able to come. Louise Beller, she's our director. Cheryl Gosselin, she's a director. Mike Lawson, he's a director. And Kurt Rushlow, he's a director as well. They're not able to be with us tonight, but we're certainly appreciative of your attendance here. We also had a corporate sponsor tonight to Flagstar Bank. Are they with us here tonight? No, they're not. Okay. They're one of our corporate sponsors as well. At this time, I'd like to introduce Al Kachkowski, Rebuilding Together County's Executive Director. Al has brought a kind of a consistent face to Rebuilding Together in Oakland County, and he's going to spend a few minutes talking to us about what's happened this year. Al?
Thank you, Gail, for the introduction. And thank you, each and every one of you, for coming out tonight to celebrate with us. Because we all know, and Charlie, thank you for coming from Washington, Tiffany from Chicago, to be with us. These folks in this room, I don't have to yell. These folks in this room, Ryan, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming. The folks in this room make the magic happen. You folks are the folks that, you know, when we go out to the job site, and I always love this, because when we go out to the job site, and you guys are, it's hard to tell who you are tonight because you don't have red shirts on, because that's how I locate you out there. But you're the folks that are out there overseeing work, getting things done, and making it happen for the folks we serve. It can't happen unless you're here with us. Without your help, the job doesn't get done. We're just a good thought. Your time is extremely valuable, and you choose to give it back to the community, to those folks we serve. I can't say thank you enough. You know, I got a letter the other day. I know I'm off the script a little bit, and I'm moving on. I got a letter the other day I have to tell you about. A team had gone out and worked at a house in Rosemary, 87 years old. Was so pleased. I was just talking to Denise back there. They were talking about it in Southfield. And she wrote a 7-page thank you letter. 7 pages, seriously. And she just went on and on about how wonderful everybody was, how this meant unbelievable things to her. And one of the things she said, and Denise, correct me if I'm wrong, she said she wanted to die before the volunteers came and worked on the house. But now she thinks she wants to live a little longer so she can stay and enjoy the outcomes of her labor. I want you to know when we're out on sites, I get to go to many sites during Rebuild Day and all through the year. And I hear those sentiments time and time and time again from folks who you're serving. They're just so pleased and thankful that you came, that you took time. And they can always say, they always tell me, they did this for me, and they did it. They didn't ask for anything in return. And they're always impressed with the smiles on your face. So I gotta believe you're doing good. I gotta believe you're enjoying it. And if it's Jack and Rick out there in Farmington Hills doing their job, or if it's Cyrus out there from Oakland University, getting the guys together, or it's Dave and Barb, or Tom, Neil, Whip, you guys, Bob, have been doing this forever, helping out and making things happen. Thank you. I just wanted to tell you, we've grown a little bit in the last few years. From Dan Harmon through Jerry McKay to Gail Frazee, we've grown over 300% in projects done throughout the year. That's a lot of good work done. So all of you deserve a big hand, a big thank you, and carry on. This last year, I get to tell you a little bit about what we did this last year. The slide there. This last year, we were able to help 37 homeowners, low-income homeowners, on Rebuild Day, National Day. We helped 11 more homeowners throughout the year with projects just like on Rebuild Day, but throughout the year. That brought it actually brought over 1,400 volunteers into projects that we can count. A lot of them are from corporation teams, from your church teams, from your civic groups, from people who walk in off the street or call us and say, we want to be part. We helped, and I think this was incredible, we helped 56 additional folks in your communities with minor repairs. And that's, sometimes they're not so minor. When you're a senior citizen, you're 87 years old, like the lady that lived in Madison Heights and called us, and her drains didn't run. She didn't have the $350 to give to the Rooter man. And she called us in tears and said, what do I do? We were able to send somebody out, right, Jerry? He worked about a day and a half getting all the drains cleaned, unclogged, so the water flowed, and she was okay again. She didn't have the $350 in the bank because her husband had died the year before. Social Security had been cut in half, and she was just out of luck. So the work you do makes a significant difference. We're also able to help 3 nonprofit organizations, and I think this is great because in helping them, the nonprofits, with what they do, in this case, one of the nonprofits was Baldwin Center in Pontiac. In Pontiac, we helped the Transform Pontiac Now Center, and also we helped the Sanctuary World, the Runaway Shelter for Kids. By helping these nonprofits through your services and helping them, they can keep their money in their pocket and help the families and the kids they serve from their side. So they don't have to spend that money on maintenance. We do what we do well, they get the benefit of service and help, and they get to take those funds that they would have expended and spend them on the families. You put in over 1,500 hours of volunteer time this last year. That's an incredible amount of time. Oh, let me correct that. 15,000. I'm glad you guys are reading this for a long time. Then we get a value. We take a value. And this is not science, it's art. But what we do is we take a value that's given to us by the independent sector in Washington, D.C., and we take that and we multiply it by the number of volunteers we have on hand. We take another number for all the craftsmen, all the folks that come to us that are working like Bob and other folks that really spend their time. They do this day in and day out. We get that another value. We take all the in-kind contributions, like the furnace we had given to us for the Milford veteran that we put in their house, or the windows we put in a veteran in Southfield's house. Those were all in-kind contributions to us, so we add those in. And when we look at that value afterwards, we get a number that's $600,000. I believe it's more like $1 million. But if you guys out in the field could help me out a little bit on captains and commanders, and let me know when you get those in-kind contributions, that would help us get that number up. And I'd like to make that a challenge for you in the future this next year. When somebody gives you, $100 worth of paint, or they give you that door or window, they give you all that, they give you that new furnace that I won't hear about until after we go over and go, oh look, there's a new furnace, how'd you get that? I don't see it on the, oh yeah, it was given to us. Tell me about it. Send us a note at the office, fill out that slip and say that we want to come. I just want to finish up by saying, you folks are terrific. Without you, the magic doesn't happen. Without you, the smiles don't come. Without you, we can't make a difference in the community like we do. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate that. That's our executive director. He's our face to you, the community, and to others, so we do appreciate that. Thank you, Al. We're privileged tonight to have with us Rebuilding Together's National President and CEO, Charley Shimanski, introduced him a little bit earlier, to recognize your contributions. Charley comes to us from an organization with strong experience and knowledge of nonprofits, fundraising, affiliate relationships, and disaster recovery. His impressive bio and background is lengthy, with lengthy experience from Red Cross at multiple levels. He understands the field and national aspects of volunteering. He's also authored several guidebooks for nonprofits to achieve excellence and individual giving. Clearly, Charley comes to us and understands the importance of bringing volunteers and communities together to improve the homes and lives of low-income homeowners in need. Please join me in welcoming Charley Shimanski.
Thank you. It's a real treat to be here. I've been on the job for all of 5 weeks. I'm into that point now where I'm almost starting to measure it in months. But one of the real treats I've had in the 5 weeks was just today. I had the great fortune of spending about 4 hours with the regional leadership from the 3 states in the Rebuilding Together Region 8, and that is Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. And we had a meeting today down in over in Detroit, and It was really great to get to see Al at work and get to know Gail and to see the great leadership that you all have here. You're in great hands. You're one of our stronger affiliates, and I'm sure you guys know that, especially with the growth that you and your leadership, Al, have brought. It's really wonderful to be here and to be able to celebrate the work of the volunteers. I started volunteering at the age of 8, working with United Cerebral Palsy, where my mother was the regional volunteer coordinator, a volunteer job itself. And as I think I was just telling Dave and Barb Adams, that my father and mother taught their 3 sons about the value of volunteering. And I didn't quite realize until a little while that every weekend we were doing all this work and not getting paid for it. And I used to get paid for chores, but for this work I wouldn't get paid. And I asked my dad once, why aren't we getting paid? He said, someday you'll come to appreciate that you are. And someday that day will happen and you'll know how richly paid you are for volunteer work. And I won't bore you with the day some years later when I realized how enormous that payment is. But I know you all understand it, you all can appreciate it. So I thank you, I thank those of you that are putting this extraordinary night together. What greater privilege than to be the volunteer coordinating the event that celebrates the work of the volunteers. You all have been around for 20 years. That's pretty awesome. Pat's here, I saw him and said hello, and oh, he's over here, thank you. Pat's been around since the inception. What a great story he tells when he mentioned to me just a little earlier that every day he drives past the first home that was the first project. What a vivid reminder it is for him. A guy who has been with this organization and seen this growth and seen all the trials and tribulations for all those years. The national office has been around for 25 years. I hope during the dinner time and at the end of the evening to meet more of you and to tell you a little bit more about what we do. I don't want to bore you with that, but I will bore you with numbers because I'm a real numbers geek. 4 numbers I want to tell you about: 187, 10,000, 100,000, and 100 million. 187 is the number of affiliates we have throughout the national network, throughout the United States. 10,000 is the number of projects that we do in a given year. And you can see, you saw in the earlier slide, the impact that you all have in that 10,000 number. 100,000 is the number of volunteers we have nationally in this program. And 100 million is the value of the services we provide. So when I'm in Washington, D.C., working closely with our federal government, other legislators, on the work that we do, and when we have Secretary Donovan of Housing and Urban Development as a keynote speaker at our conference in about a month, he knows better than anybody the value of the work that you all do. So every time you're swinging a hammer or you're wielding a paintbrush, you're doing critical work that is essential to our meeting the needs of people in need. The sad news, the last numbers I'll leave you with, are that in the last 4 years, the number of seniors that live below the poverty line has grown by 24% in 4 years. In that same time, the National Rebuilding Together Network, our number of projects has essentially been flat. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got work to do, and we need to reach deeper into our communities and find more and more funders, and my job is to help us do that, who will support us building our capacity so we don't have 187 affiliates, we have 387 affiliates, and we're not providing $100 million in value, we're providing $500 million in value in communities because these people need them so much. That's our challenge at headquarters, is to provide more and more value to Al and to Gail and all of you so that you can redouble your efforts and we can do a lot more. I want to finish by just mentioning something that Dave and Barb Adams said when we were chatting just a few moments ago. And you all get this, but I just have to say it. The real value in the work that we do and the payback that my father told me about was that moment when you get that hug from that homeowner, and I just had one in Des Moines a week ago with this extraordinary, extraordinary woman who, when I met her, I was in front of her house and the team was just descending on her house. And she gave me this bear hug, and I'm a hugger, and I cry at openings of grocery stores, so I'm a very emotional guy. And here we were in this bear lock of a hug, and she just wouldn't let go, and she wouldn't let go. And finally, I peeled her back so I could tell her, this is such an extraordinary experience. You're the first homeowner I've really come to meet. And she said, rebuilding together is my resurrection. She said, my son died just a couple of years ago, and since then, nothing has gone my way. I've lost my job. I'm operating on a fixed income. I can't fix all the things in my home. And when the card came under my mailbox that said the Rebuilding Together was looking for families that could use help, I knew that my resurrection had just arrived in my mailbox. That's the kind of people we're touching. You know that. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but isn't that just the coolest thing about the work that we do? And doesn't that make you just want to sign up for another 10 years? I know it does. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it very much. I really liked your comments about how you got started serving others as a younger person. I think that's our legacy to our children and others as well. So, thank you for that message. At this time, I'd like Dave Adams, if you would, lead us in a short prayer, and then we'll start with dinner back 3 tables, go to either food serving station. As soon as they're seated, the next 3 tables. We up front will eat last.
Charlie, the good book says, the first should be last, and the last should be first. It's just testimony that you're one of the first. Let us pray. Gracious, great Father of us all, you have given us so much to be thankful for, and given us so much to give to others.